If you're the mole and you're looking to play the perfect game, you're going to need a lot more than seeing the lights turn red at the end of it. Hello there, I'm Trevor Beast, and today I'll be going over what it takes to play the perfect game as the mole in Jubilee's Odd One Out series, formerly known as Odd Man Out. This is strictly about the criteria of playing the perfect game and not advice on how to play it. My advice for future moles could be its own video topic, but not this time. So what does it mean to play the perfect game? How many steps are required for it to count as perfection? Has any moles ever achieved that prestigious status? If so, how many of them? All those questions will be answered shortly. So throughout 61 episodes, from 6 Beyonce fans to 6 high schoolers, we've seen a lot of moles. 54 regular moles, 3 mole duos, 2 games with 2 separate moles, and 2 games with several moles. It all adds up to having 72 mole entities, and 75 humans who can truthfully say they were the mole, or at least part of a mole entity. Obviously, not all of those 72 entities played the perfect game. In fact, less than 2/5 of them ever reached the end of the game, which is the first step to perfection. That drops our pool down from 72 all the way to 27, at a 37.5% success rate. That moves us into step 2 in playing the perfect game. You must receive 0 votes. It's important because getting 0 votes means that no one is ever suspicious enough of the mole to write their name down after any of the rounds. So out of the 27 mole entities who reach the end of the game, only 7 receive 0 votes. That's definitely impressive enough for me to honorably mention their names right here, so spoiler warning. In chronological order, we have Sebastian from 6 Beyonce fans versus 1 secret hater, Gian from 6 US citizens versus 1 secret non-citizen, Tay from 6 introverts versus 1 secret extrovert, Julian from Who is Pretending to be a Frat Boy, Angel from 8 TikTokers versus 2 fakes, Bree from 6 boys versus 1 secret girl, and Isabel from 6 lesbians versus 1 fake. That will now move us into the third step of playing a perfect game, which states that the mole votes with the majority or plurality every time, meaning that each name written down by the mole is the same person who has eliminated that round via receiving more votes than anyone else. Sebastian from 6 Beyonce fans completes this step by voting for the eventual eliminated contestant in all 4 rounds. Gian from 6 US citizens also does this in all 3 rounds. Tay from 6 introverts barely falls short of this by voting for Emma instead of Antoine in the first round. Julian from Who is Pretending to be a Frat Boy follows this rule all 4 times in the episode, including in the initial and revote in round 2, despite the fact that he meant to vote for Abraham instead of Evan.
I didn't mean to vote for Evan. I actually meant to vote for Abraham. So when Evan walked off, I was like, oh man, I think I messed it up.
Angel from 8 TikTokers voted correctly on the individual votes by voting out Anna in the round 2 tiebreaker and Ava in round 3. However, Angel only voted for one of the 2 eliminated contestants in both of the double eliminations, resulting in a failure to triumph over this step. Under these circumstances, it's extremely difficult to vote out the right 2 people simultaneously and to do it consecutively. But that's what it takes to play quote-unquote perfect in this TikTok format. Next we have Bree, aka Undercover Brian from 6 boys versus 1 secret girl. Bree only cast 3 votes, but the second one wasn't with the plurality. She was the only one to vote for So Odd in that round, and should have switched it to Chandler to potentially remain perfect. Last but not least, we have Isabel from 6 lesbians versus 1 fake. Unfortunately, she didn't vote for the eliminated contestant for the first half of the game. If Rachel could have convinced one more person to vote for Anadita in the second revote of round 1, then all 3 of Isabel's first votes would have been spot on. But that could have created a whole new scenario, as hypothetically there's a chance Rachel could have figured out Isabel's charade and helped lead the charge to eliminate her, thus washing away any chances of Isabel's gameplay perfection. Either way, Isabel is left with an incomplete third step. So with Sebastian, Gian, and Julian still alive, we have 3 moles who are still in contention of having played the perfect game. The fourth step to playing a perfect game as the mole is to be in the majority every time when choosing whether or not to end the game, because after each round a show of hands is done to determine if the game should continue or end at that point. Therefore, the perfect mole would not go against the majority's decision. Sebastian, Gian, and Julian all accomplish this, as they both raise and refrain from raising their hands at the right time throughout. So now we move on to the fifth and final step. The perfect mole would walk away with all the money at the end of the episode unless the game mechanics demand otherwise. In other words, the perfect mole would not be standing next to any other moles at the end of the game so as not to split the prize money. Seeing as how Sebastian and Gian were the only moles in their respective episodes, they received 100% of the money, making them both official perfect moles with their flawless performances. Seriously, on paper, it's impossible for them to do better than what they did. Now about Julian. While he played an outstanding game and completed the first 4 steps, he only walked away with half of the money, as Tyree collected the other half, being another mole finalist. The episode Julian was on had 4 out of its 6 contestants be moles. It was a very odd situation, but definitely possible for Julian to have won all the money. It could have been done in 3 ways. The most likely option would be to reach the final 2 with Isaiah. The second is to reach the final 2 with Henry, and the third is to reach the final 3 with Isaiah and Henry and ending the game there. Thus, it takes him off the running for perfection. But if all 6 of the frat boy contestants happen to be moles, then Julian would have joined Sebastian and Gian, as all finalists would be forced to share the prize money amongst each other. So that's where we stand. Massive congratulations and respect for non-Beyonce fan Sebastian and non-US citizen Gian to surpass all the criteria. It is surprising to see that Sebastian was in the first ever video of this series, while Gian appeared not too long after in the 5th episode. Who knows how many more episodes it will take for another perfect mole to rise out of the shadows. Thanks for watching this. I hope you enjoyed my commentary detailing the conditions for achieving the ultimate mole victory. Unlike Sebastian and Gion's performances, this wasn't a perfect video, but at least it's above average. Be sure not to split your money with Tyree on your way out, and I hope to see you next time.